This is a presentation of the EU-supported InnoWater project. It presents the result of a scouting mission and technology needs assessment, which is done on the water efficiency and wastewater treatment in the food and beverage sector in China. It will be presented in the Water International Information Day on the 10th of June. This presentation will be done by Palle Lingard Jørgensen from DHI, and two co-workers who also participated in the mission, Rasmus Ewald from Gate to Growth and Kenneth Larsen also from Gate to Growth. We will deal both with the sort of technical issues, but also with how can we go into this Chinese market in the food sector. During the scouting mission, which was undertaken in the beginning of May, we met with several organizations like the embassies, the EU Chamber of Commerce, the National Food and Industry Association, and also with some who could actually help us getting into the Chinese market, like COWI International Tech Trends. A bit of information about the sector as such. We learned that there's about 500,000 industries in the food and beverage sector in China. So it's a huge industry. It's very important in the Chinese economy, but of course it's also very important for international companies going to the Chinese market. And the sector is subdivided, as in any other countries, in a number of subsectors like dairies, slaughteries, breweries, and dry food production, etc. And the sector is also composed by large state-owned companies, large international industries, which often has joint ventures with Chinese companies, and a large number of medium and small privately owned and operated companies. If you look at the water situation, and now we're not only focusing on the food sector, but the overall situation in China, the water usage in China is increasing. And this counts also for, as you could see, for the industry and also for the food sector. The challenges, and again it's the challenges for water and not only for the food sector, but of course the food sector is impacted by these overall challenges. There's a shortage of water. Already today, 2/3 of China's 660 largest cities actually suffer from water shortages. If you compare to the efficiency, the water efficiency is poor. If you compare with the G20 countries, the situation is that in China requires around 4 times more water per value per US dollars of the GDP than compared to the group of 20 countries. So they get significantly less out of the water value than other countries because of less efficiency. Looking at the pollution, already today 75% of rivers flowing through urban areas are unsuitable for drinking and fishing, and even 30% of river water is unfit for agricultural or industrial use. This creates huge problems in China, also for the food sector. If you look at the water sector, you can conclude that there are increasing water stress, decreasing water quality, and also seeing some of the climate change impacts, which are increasingly seen in China as well. For the food sector, this has led to increasing water and energy prices, not in all places, but locally. Prices have increased significantly over the last 5 to 10 years, and they're expected to increase even more. This raises a demand for increased water use efficiency and also for improved wastewater treatment. And at the same time, China is struggling with food safety. I think it's well known that China have had a number of instances where food safety regulations have actually been violated, and in some cases water has been part of this violation. The industry, according to how they get the water and how they get rid of the water, there are at least three typical situations. There's the industry with its own water supply and wastewater treatment facility, the industry which in urban areas with municipal water supply and treatment of wastewater in municipal plants, and there's industry located in industrial parks. And all these cases are quite frequent in China. And of course the technology and the use of technologies depend on what is the situation, whether they have their own, whether they are in a municipal treatment system, or whether they are located in this industrial park. Just to give some examples, with the industry which has its own water supply and wastewater treatment facility, of course they do filtration of the supply water, but also preparation of technical water for heating and cooling. For the wastewater, they have quite often biological systems, so not only mechanical and chemical, but also biological. And often you see, at least in areas where there are more space, you see lagoons and aerated wetlands as solutions. There is already some industrial water reuse, so water reuse in the plants. So various combinations of physical chemical treatment, and that is in its very beginning, reuse of industrial wastewater. Today there are estimates that is less than 5%, but it's expected that will increase in the future. So you can expect the needs for much more advanced treatment of the industrial wastewater in order to recirculate treated wastewater. There are strong drivers now to improve, not only the pricing drivers, but the government has in its 12th five-year plan strengthened the requirements for the industry to reduce a number of both on energy side, but also a number of parameters. And for the food sector, it's very important that there is a requirement to reduce even further the chemical oxygen demand, and that's a measure of how much organic material is present in the wastewater, and this is quite substantial in the food sector. And also the water intensity per value, and if you remember that the efficiency is 4 times less than other countries, there's much demand for that. That creates a huge market potential for European companies, including European SMEs, because the regulation we have is more strict than the regulation in China, and we have had it for a long time, while it has been introduced recently in China. So the market potential is there. The opportunities are across the board in extraction, in treatment, in distribution, in the use of water, and in the wastewater treatment. But more important is it that there's definitely a strong market in the reuse sector and also in the wastewater treatment sector. I'll focus a bit more on these. So water reuse reductions, both from, let's say, audits and learning good housekeeping, reuse of water, recycling of used water, and replacement of water used using alternative sources. And still here it's important to maintain a good food quality and safety. There's water treatment and removal of water safety risks, which is microorganisms and chemicals. There's a need for controlling the hygienic standard on the water, so rapid microbial tests, and of course on food safety risk assessment, so not only technologies, also knowledge transfers. And the industrial parks, the whole idea on symbiosis is important, that one water supply system, they have one water supply system, but also that there are possibilities that waste from one industry can be a resource for another.
So my name is Kenneth Larsen, and on this China mission I had a specific focus on financing of the companies from Europe wanting to go to the Chinese market. As the slides say, everything is possible in China, but nothing is easy, and this is very true from the financing perspective. So what are the challenges that EU companies, SMEs, face when going to China in regards to financing? What we found is that there are no or very few Chinese financing programs to attract foreign companies, and it's not really easy to get bank loans in China from Chinese banks. We didn't see any real governmental programs to attract foreign companies, and it's really difficult as well to be a foreign company and attract Chinese venture capital. So there's not much help from the Chinese system in regards to financing. So what does that mean? It basically means that you have to bring cash from home, and maybe you have to bring somewhat more financing power than from if you were going to any other European markets, as things takes longer in China. It's difficult. You have to have local partners, and you have to localize your product, so you have to spend money developing or adapting your technology to the Chinese market. And what kind of financing do you choose from home? Well, it depends very much on your situation. Some companies have financing by themselves already, which is the cheapest way of going, the best way of going. And you have the traditional bank sources, private investor sources, etc., etc. What's interesting here is that within the water and the environmental area, there are in many of the European countries, there are specific programs for financing, specifically for the Chinese market. So as an example, we have lined out the Danish governmental financing programs for environmental related SMEs, going to, as an example, China, and water is included here. So we have both seed funding available, and we have larger amounts of money also for export credits and for investing in companies, SMEs going to China, like EFU. Other European countries have similar programs, so this is the good news on the financing part.
Hi, my name is Rasmus Evald. Just a quick look at how you actually get access to the end users in the food industry in China. There are a number of gatekeepers you have to go through before you can actually access these companies. This is someone like the Ministry of Water Resources, Environmental Protection, etc. And these can be quite difficult to handle as a European company. Luckily, there are a number of locally based organizations that can help you. This is something like the EU's SME Center, EU's China Chamber of Commerce. You have your local embassies from the member countries. And finally, you have technology transfer companies such as Coway, which can help you actually do market research and find a first user in China. So, if you need any help, Innowater can be of assistance. Our final report is out now, or you can contact us in one of the following email addresses. Thank you for your attention.